The locker room was hyped after a thrilling overtime win. The Ignite claimed their first win of the regular season in dramatic fashion, defeating the Iowa Wolves at the Dollar Loan Center 123-118. Thanks for joining us on NBA G League Ignite Takeover. I'm Mike Davis, and that's Gianna Hearn.
We've got a packed show for you. The Ignite get a big overtime win, like Mike said. We hear from Ron Holland after the game. Then we sit down with consistent veteran present John Jenkins. Later, WNBA champion Kiah Stokes of the Las Vegas Aces joins us. And after, we're introducing you to the team's newest edition of Gabe York. But first, we need to break down this big win.
Gianna, of course, and you were there covering the game. And, heading into the game, let's just talk about this. The Ignite were last in the Western Conference. They were sitting at 0-15. And to finally get a win in a competitive thriller, can you describe what this win means to the players, to the coaches?
I think you could really tell by the reaction in that video that we had earlier on. But the young guys, to get a win, they needed this for a morale boost, for a confidence boost. They knew they could do it, but to actualize it is something different.
Yes, and, to make the win even more special, the young guns really stepped up in this comeback victory. The guys rallied back from a 16-point deficit at halftime. So, for instance, Ron Holland, he led the way with 26 points, 11 rebounds, and 6 assists. We saw Tyler Smith hit that tough three-pointer from downtown with a hand in his face to send the Ignite into overtime. And it was Ethan Almanza who secured the victory, hitting a game winner with the turnaround hook shot off an offensive board. And get this, Almanza and Modis, they combined for 35 points on 64% shooting. Talk about efficiency. So to have a win like this with the ability to propel the squad to another level and to have all these young guns stepping up, it wasn't the vets, it was the prospects. What does that mean for this team?
I think it means the young guys now know that not only can they just be on the court with these guys and the professionals in the G, but they can handle it. They can get wins here. And as long as the team is healthy and as long as the vets can come out there and do what they need to do, they can add more wins to this roster, to this year.
I love it. And, Gianna, you spoke to one of the heavy hitters in this game, Ron Holland, following the win. Let's see what he had to say.
How good does it feel to get your first win in the regular season?
It feels good. We've been through a long season, a lot of ups and downs, but we know we kept our head down and grinding and put all the work in. The coaches did a great job preparing us for this moment, and we finally got us one.
While the young guys, they did step up in the big overtime win against the Wolves, there's a steady veteran presence helping them transition to professional basketball.
Yes, that's 32-year-old John Jenkins. He played 6 seasons in the NBA, and I had a chance to sit down with him about his career arc. Let's take a listen.
John Jenkins, the best shooter in the G League, and nothing but net.
I mean, at 32, to already know you're kind of in a veteran and a leadership role. Tell us a little bit about the way that you lead and the way that takes shape on the floor.
Yeah, I think for me, everybody's different. Everybody responds differently to the leadership styles. So for Scoot last year, I wasn't saying too much, a couple of things here and there, but he had the upper hand of being there for 2 years before I got there, so a year before I got there. So it was different. I didn't have to say too much. He understood little things here and there, but for younger guys, I'm having to say a lot more. Sometimes I'm pretty tough on them. I have to admit that, but I'm a former first-round pick, and I know what it takes to get to that level and the work that it entails and the sacrifice and all that. So I just want them to feel the same feeling I have when I got my name called.
Jenkins throws it up at the rim, gets the hand one.
And the unique qualities of a team that, like Ignite, that's trying to win, but that is also trying to foster and grow talent. You've played overseas, you've played even in the D League, But let's talk about how unique of a situation the Ignite situation is. Explain that to our audience.
It's amazing. I think about the opportunity when I was coming out, I would have done the same thing. They would have sold me very quickly on just being able to play against pros right away.
Over Vanderbilt.
It'd have been tough. I can't say that out loud probably, but it's tough.
And why do you think
if I was trying to get to be a first-round pick, then I had to do it all over again. And they sold me on playing against pros right away. And just the coaching staff and the experience that I would gain on and off the court, it's tough to pass up. I understand why guys jump to come here, because it's just a situation where it's unique. Me coming from a small town, I didn't know what to expect as a pro, but to get the upper hand right away for a year before you take that jump is just can't put a price on it.
Well, let's talk about your journey. So Hendersonville, Tennessee. What's crazy is, yes, I remember you being drafted from Vanderbilt, but in high school, you were Gatorade Tennessee High School Player of the Year, two-time Mr. Tennessee. At Station Camp High School, you actually led the nation in scoring with 42.3 points a game. 42.3 points a game. That's a lot of points, ladies and gentlemen. You were ranked number 15 player in the nation in 2008. So where would the differences have lied, being that successful, that young, to then go to Vanderbilt, 23rd pick by the Atlanta Hawks? Where do you think you would have been better, more prepared as a player, opposed to Vanderbilt doing Ignite?
As a player, it would be different than a person because I stayed close to home for my mom. I wanted to be around her. She worked 2 minutes from Vanderbilt, and I'm a mama's boy, so I wanted to be close to her. As a player, I think if I wanted to leave, I didn't think I was a one-and-done player going into Vanderbilt, first of all, so I needed that experience.
Yeah.
I needed those 3 years, and I probably could have done 4 and still been okay, but if I knew I was going to be one and done, I would have come in for sure.
Kick out is to Jenkins. 4 on the shot clock. Pull-up jumper. Nails it.
Shooters got to shoot, G, and that's what John Jenkins does. He's a great guy with a great heart. Tell us, what do you think he has brought in particular to this organization?
Well, besides putting balls in the bucket from beyond the three, let me show you his stats real quick. 45.9% from the field.
Yeah.
46.7% from the three-point line and 95% from the free throw line. When you talk about someone who's consistent, you think of John Jenkins, but you also think of someone who's efficient, which is incredibly important for young guys to learn as they're coming up to the NBA. Because someone like Ron Holland, you can shoot, but we don't want you to shoot 40 and only make 10.
Right.
So I think what John Jenkins is doing is leading by example on the court and off the court by, he has a mental coach, which him and Modest Buzella share now.
Really?
And so there's so many other things beyond the game, beyond on court that he's sharing with them. He's not like the loudest, like I mentioned, but he's showing them the little things it takes to become a pro. And there's so many little things that it takes that go unnoticed. But John is the type of veteran you want on your team if you're going to help these young guys get drafted.
Hey, he has a calming presence. I feel like I just got out of a massage, frankly, watching that interview. He is so relaxing and calming. I think it's a good thing for a lot of young guns on this team. But we're just getting started here on Ignite Takeover. Yes, coming back, we got WNBA champion Kiah Stokes, two-time WNBA champion of the Las Vegas Aces. She's joining us. You don't want to miss it right after a short break.
Welcome back to Ignite Takeover. We're joined right now by Las Vegas Aces center and two-time champion Kiah Stokes. You're in the building.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
We're so excited to have you here. Kiah, let's start with this. You just agreed to return to the Aces on a 2-year contract. So now you're committed to staying here. You're committed to basketball in Las Vegas. You got a lot of people coming back. Asia Wilson, Kelsey Plum, Chelsea Gray, Jackie Young, Alicia Clark. You guys have a really good chance at a three-peat, I think.
That's a squad.
That's a squad. Tell us, what's the chances of a three-peat, and what is it like to be a part of the growth of this sport here in Las Vegas? The Aces really introduced basketball to Las Vegas.
I would have to agree, but in some good news, we just signed back Candace Parker as well, so she's going to come back healthy. So we have a pretty good chance, but it's hard to say, probability-wise. It's going to be tough. A lot of W teams are making moves now, so we're a super team. New York's a super team. Phoenix is now a super team. Seattle's a super team. So it's going to be a lot harder, but we're excited for it.
I love it.
You've really committed to Las Vegas, but let's talk about Henderson specifically. You've come out to some of the Ignite games, and on the last home games, you were actually a color commentator. You're on the broadcast with me. What was it like doing that, and what is it like having an NBA presence here in Las Vegas?
I think it's great. Before I came to Vegas, I didn't even know about the G League Ignite, so I think it's great that I've got to experience it, and then to do the color commentary was exciting. It was my first time, but I had a great time, and to see how the team has transformed from the first couple games I went to now, I think it's incredible, and obviously they're more healthy now than before, but they're a really fun team to watch.
ball is ball, and you know ball. So you're watching the Ignite play, and you're watching these prospects, these young guns are trying to make the leap to the NBA. When you're watching the team, who stands out to you? Who's the guy or the couple, 2 or 3 players that you're just, wow, that guy, the transition to the next level is going to be easy for them because they're going to make an immediate impact?
I mean, my top 2 that come to mind are obviously Ron Holland and Matas Buzelis, but just the physicality of the game, I've seen improvement from Matas Buzelis. Well, he was hurt when I first watched it, but the last 2 games when I was on the broadcast was incredible. And then Ron Holland has this energy, this intensity that you just can't teach. So I think that's definitely going to help him in the next level because the way he was defending, I think that's a plus. I'm a very defensive-minded player, so that's something that I look for, and the attitude, the energy, the effort. I mean, he had, like 5 steals the last game? Something like that. So I was really impressed, and I think that's going to help him in the next level for sure.
Yeah, at one point he was actually leading, the G League in steals. So, I mean, he really does bring that intensity to the floor.
At like 18 years old, leading professional league. I mean, I don't know, but you also really loved watching Ethan Almanza.
Of course.
Plays the same position as you. He got the overtime game winner. What do you like specifically about him? Because you really know that position well.
His hands were great. He was finishing well. He was really solid. And when shots aren't falling and they were able to go inside, he was making them pay. And I love a big man that does a lot of work, and then he gets his flowers. So he did great in that game, and I think this is just a start for him. His pick and roll defense is pretty good. Obviously, everyone can be better on defense, but offensively, just the way he moves, the pick and roll, finishing, just trying to be a big body, I was really impressed. And then for him to have the 4th quarter that he did in that game to really seal the win, I was super excited.
She couldn't contain herself. When she said super excited, she couldn't sit.
Well, because he got it off an offensive board, too.
That's what I'm saying.
So like to have that presence of mind, he's very fluid. The game comes to him very easily. I just want to talk basketball pedigree with you a little bit. This was also a big week, not just for you in terms of re-signing, but you also Linn-Mar at your high school in Iowa. You got inducted into the Athletic Hall of Fame there, but you also have the pedigree. Your dad played for the Kings, Greg, and for the 76ers, and you also got to learn from Coach Gino at UConn, and you spent 4 years there, 4 Final Fours, 3 championships. You were undefeated 1 year, 4-0. So what did you take from not only Greg Stokes, your dad, but from Coach Gino and everybody at UConn to have that pedigree and to bring that into the sport? What did you learn from your time there, and how has that helped you today?
Oh, man, UConn was really tough. Gino, love him to death. We definitely had a love-hate relationship going on in college, but he was the one that really showed me there's another level to working hard. Like, there's a second gear. My freshman year, I came in, and maybe I was lazy. I thought I was working hard, but he really shows you there's another level. So I think that work ethic has really helped me progress into the league and to have the career that I've had. Because if you look at we won a lot in college, but if you look at me personally, it maybe wasn't the best career, but the ability to adapt and to work hard, I think that's what helped me prolong my career in the W.
Yeah, I mean, it must have been good enough. I mean, you're still 11th pick of the draft or something like that. So
I was 11.
Yeah, so.
You're all right. No, and you were amazing to have on the broadcast. We love your support, and really all of your team has come out to check out the Ignite. So there's a lot coming, I think, with you and our team and teaming up, but we appreciate you being out here with us today.
Yeah, of course. I love it. Thank you guys for having me.
Congratulations. We're happy you're staying here in Las Vegas.
Well, coming up, we're introducing you to the newest member of the Ignite.
Yes, Gabe York is a G League legend, and he asserted himself early into his time with the squad. We break it down after these words. Well, do you hear that? It's time for Thunder Rumblings. Last week, the team signed guard Gabe York. Yes, the 8-year veteran spent 4 years in the G League and has a career average of 18.4 points per game. Now, York even experienced 2 NBA call-ups with the Indiana Pacers. In his first game with the team, he had 11 points along with 4 boards and 4 assists. Now, Gianna, more than anything, what does York bring to this team?
He brings a little boost of energy. Ignite hadn't won yet, and so we really needed that. And I told everybody on our broadcast when we came in that there's some new energy in the building tonight. I think we're going to get a win. And he definitely brought it. He brought instant energy when he came off the bench, and he injected that into the entire team. He's just ferocious. He used to lead the league in 2022-2023 season in steals. So, having him and having Ron Holland on defense really just allows us to have transition buckets and get hit those points, which Ron really does well when he can do that. So he's just adding the energy, but also he really can produce shooting, which is what we need from our veterans. A lot of the veterans were hurt early on in the season, so that didn't help us. And now we have someone that's very healthy. He's 30 years old, but he told me, I still have a 40-inch vert, so don't get it twisted.
We've seen some of those highlights playing right now. The boy's got hops. But let's talk about this. I mean, to me, I think it's fascinating from an organizational standpoint, the amount of turnover that we're experiencing. How many new guys have, been injected on this team since, the initial start of the season. And chemistry is such a big thing with, professional sports franchises. How is this team able to kind of, overcome just the roster changes and having to constantly bring new energy into a locker room? How do you think this team deals with it?
I think it's easy in a sense because you're not bringing in another young guy. You're bringing in a veteran, so you immediately have respect when you're 17 years old and you know a guy has played in the NBA. The last time Gabe York hit the floor, before he came to Ignite, he had some time off, he was playing at Madison Square Garden against the Knicks. Right. So when someone comes in and has that, I mean, it's pretty easy. It does take some time to know the plays. Like, he literally, Gabe York, got there the night before their game and then played. So there's communication things that they had to iron out. But as far as respect and unity on this team, they're in a really good spot right now.
Okay, I like to hear it. Now, let's head into the eye of the storm.
This week for Inside the Pro Lab, we're sticking with John Jenkins. Take a look.
It is a badge of honor to be out there because you are not a disappointment to yourself by not memorizing, by not studying. You're a disappointment to the team. So when you step on that flight line, it's the Thunderbird patch that you wear. That's what you honor. It's the one thing that makes us different from our adversaries. We don't fight because we hate our enemies. We fight because we love our brothers and sisters next to us. That's why we fight. Today, I will do what others won't. Tomorrow, I will accomplish what others can't. So I leave that with you guys. Do today what others won't. Train today like others won't. Push yourselves today like others won't.
I first got involved when I was in college, 2011. A lot of guys just played in the league, and then I've been playing ever since, so 12 plus years. These dudes are playing guys their age 6 months ago. Now they're playing guys almost double their age, and it's a huge adjustment. So it's on me and the vets to make sure that they know that.
I love John Jenkins because think about what John Jenkins, he's a former first-round pick, 12th year as a professional athlete. He could have made a ton of money overseas playing in a lot of high-level places, but he decided that he loved his situation so much here with Ignite that he wanted to come back. Jason Hart actually told him, I want you to shoot more. I want you to look for your offense more because when these young prospects get to the NBA, they're going to have to play with superstars and they're going to have to play off the ball. They're not going to be able to play with the ball in their hands a lot. So for John Jenkins, he's in a great spot as a veteran because he can actually look for his shot. And he's taken guys under his wings. And, when you look at guys on draft night, getting drafted first round, second round, and we think about their journey and who we give credit to. We think of the coaching staff, Ignite as a program, but you've got to also thank these veterans, guys like John Jenkins, Eric Mika. They're as big a part of the success of these prospects as anyone else in the Ignite system.
He doesn't want round two. Does he want round two?
John's role, first he's an awesome dude to be around. He kind of guides me through difficult things that on the court and off the court for me.
Heavy cross step back. This game right here.
He's like an older brother than me. He's also from Atlanta, or he's from Nashville, but he lives in Atlanta now. Sometimes we'll work out back home and then coming from home all the way to Vegas and working out together still.
He's also very unselfish in the sense that, yes, he looks for a shot, yes, he looks for his offense, but he's also playing the mentor role.
And just build camaraderie and it's given me a second, third, and fourth family from when I was at Vanderbilt. I was in high school at Station Camp. I'm here at Ignite, and all the teams I've been on, just giving all I had every day. Didn't cut any corners, hard worker, great teammate, and I think I can just leave a legacy of continuing to pass down the hard work aspect and believing even when things get hard, I think I've done my job.
Yeah, this team would feel just so different without Jenkins and his presence. And, you know, Gianna, I spend a lot of time, even just at practice, really making sure I'm watching this guy and his movements and his motions. He's so purposeful with everything he does. It's almost robotic, the way he almost like sets up for a jumper. Just his practice form, what do you think guys glean the most from the way he just approaches the game?
I mean, I've seen him, you know, see the young guys, and they're not running as much as they could be. And he pulls them aside. It's like, yeah, practice is over, but we're going to go hit the bike right now. That's what veterans do. That's what winners know how to do. So in practice, you just see his motor. Again, I've mentioned earlier, he's not the most vocal, but he shows it in his play, in his determination, and how he does every single thing in practice.
Yeah, and everybody remembers, I mean, at Vandy, he was a stud and obviously a first-round pick in the NBA draft. So it's great to have a guy on the team, a veteran presence, who was drafted in the first round. That's what these guys want to make happen.
Coming up, we're breaking down the Ignite's next 4 games, plus how you can get tickets to see their games at the Dollar Loan Center right here in Henderson.
Welcome back. It's time for Stormwatch. Let's look ahead at the next 3 home games. So after a trip to Canada to face the Ontario Clippers, the Ignite are back in Henderson at the DLC for a 2-game stint against the Indiana Mad Ants. And on February 12th and 13th, they're going up against them. Then later, February 23rd, the Ignite versus the Osceola Magic. So, G, what should we know about this 3-game homestand?
Well, you know what I'm a little concerned about is the Mad Ants are coming into town, and they are one of the best teams in the league. They have Oscar Tshiebwe, who is a rebound monster. We have some trouble on the board, so that's going to be a test. But after that, they go to All-Star. So this is going to be a very interesting stretch in February.
All right, critical stretch. You can watch the Ignite right here on the Silver State Sports and Entertainment Network. Their next game is against the Indiana Mad Ants on Monday, February 12th. You can watch that on channel 5.2 over there, or Cox channel 125. Make sure you go check those games out. Thanks for joining us here on Ignite Takeover. We'll see you next time.